Welcome to the club, Saj. One more hit. I don't know what that countdown was. It was not happening. Oh my god. Hi, Claudine. Ramakrishna is so hungry. Hi, Eddie Moretti. Welcome to the club, Sash. How does that bong work? This is a Puffco, and it's a pivot. No, it's not a pivot. It's a Puffco Peak Pro, and so it's a bigger chamber than the regular Puffco. And hi, Soham. Bon appetit. Go, go, go. It's a dab rig. So I'm smoking rosin. This is some cannabiotics. This is cannabiotics batter, cereal milk batter. Oops. Try and show you guys this. Get my eyeballs out of it so you can. It's almost gone, right? I've almost goobered that all the way. How's the sound on this mic? How are you guys? Should be good as far as hearing me, right? It's Brittany bitch. Anyway, today is actually a very serious topic, but we're going to cover it and we're going to get stoned and we have a lot of gratitude for the people, the hands, the workers that support the cannabis industry. And it's been a lot in the news, and I think it's timely, and I think it's important to talk about immigration and farm workers in California. And so that's what we're doing. We'll spark the extra large blunt with y'all. Sound is great. Great Ocala wood. That's good to hear. Claudine, you're always so kind and patient to explain things. Thank you. That's why I'm here. Oh my gosh. That's my pleasure, Claudine. That's why I'm here. I want to like help. If you ever, there's no stupid questions. I think I love curiosity. I think it's important to stay curious. And can be a very intimidating industry. And how I would describe this is like it's like a bong for vapes, right? You know the vape pens that you can get at the dispensary? Those are just pre-loaded vapes, right? So you don't know what's going in them. It's whatever the vape maker puts in there. So this allows me the opportunity to decide like do I want to dab or vape because it's just vaporizing. It's the same thing. We're heating up a ceramic chamber using the battery of this cool machine from Puffco. There are different machines out there, but this is the one I was gifted and I like it very much. Use whatever you want. You can even use a glass rig, and that's when you use, they'll get like a torch and they'll heat up the glass chamber and you get it to a certain temp. This does that all for you. And then you drop a little goober in there of your favorite concentrates. I really like 710 Labs. I really like Cannabiotics. I love rosin. I like solventless. It's been very fun to get into. When I was on Kauai or in Kauai, I smoked my auntie's homegrown, which was great, of course. Never going to complain about that. Thank you, Auntie. And then I came home and I was like, okay, time for a dab. Boop, boop, boop. Preloaded vapes always taste horrible at like 10 to 15%. Yeah. So basically, like, can this transform into a regular bong? No, this isn't. Like, you can't put flour in there. I don't think. I mean, I could ask them, but I don't. Mm-mm. This is for concentrates. And yeah, it's great. It's fun. I also have the pivot from them. Um, and yeah, it's been interesting to like I usually cook with concentrates. That's really how I was introduced to them. Like I was given a big bag of cold water hash and that's how I started making my chocolates was I figured out how to decarb. I didn't even know what the word for it was. I just knew if you put the hash in the oven a little bit before you put it in the caramels were stronger and I didn't have to use as much hash to get people as high. And then I was introduced to distillate through Cornerstone Wellness. They were Cornerstone Collective at the time. And I was like, you have to use distillate because we need to be able to tell our patients like accurately how many milligrams are in a batch. And that's when I started sending things to lab testing. How was the beach, Harry Lee? The beach was great. Listen, I get nervous in the water and there were seals and it's a big conversation. I don't want to piss anyone off, but like the seals are not native to Hawaii. They say they are, but they're not. It's not. They're not. They're not native. And but you have to be like very careful of them and you can't go around them. So I just like I don't like them in the water and I was swimming, and my uncle and I were swimming, and the seal. I was in the water actually. I was out on the up on the beach, and I turn around. I look at my uncle, and his dog's in the water, and my like. I don't know what I would call it, Mikiala, like little kid was there with us. And I'm like, there's a seal. It was like right next to them. It's like, get out of the water. It's like you don't want the dog to mess with the seal. And anyway, but the beach was great otherwise. And I know it doesn't look like it, but I got a little bit of a tan. Not really like a tan for me. I wear like SPF 50 and 75. So I did not get any. You stay away from the seals. Like you don't bug them. Okay, so for 710, what should I try first? And then I have some questions for us. So this is Mad Honey number 16, and it's honey, banana, and shebanger. That sounds great to me. And then there's Upside Down Frown. That I love that name. Zouts and Grumps. Runts and Grape Mac. Cool. So should I do a poll? My favorite ombre stoner. Also, if you want to see your name up here on the board, you can send a super chat. I don't know what the goal should be today. You feel free to give me some suggestions of what we should have our goal be. It's my first day back, and then I'm going to start a poll. What should I boop next? We got to get some boop t-shirts made. Oh, club merch is coming. I just got an email, so stay tuned for that. Upside down, frown, number 15. Or Mad Honey. And don't worry, I have flour too, number 16. But I'm enjoying my dabs, and I don't give a what you think about that. Hi. Hi. But I know you have a different name you want me to call you, Bishapa. What was it? Can you remind me? I'm not my brain sometimes. My brain sometimes doesn't remember. Should I put Bonbon on her mark? She's sleeping on the couch. She looks pretty cozy. Let me see if I can get her in the bed. I'll let you guys vote. And then, hey, Frag Rock Pothead. I woke you up. I'm sorry, Bonbon. Okay, let me put you up on the board. Oops, shit. Drop my headphones because they're all wrapped around the chair. Boop. Let me put you up on the board. We're gonna, yeah. It's a little messy, but it's up there. Okay. Thank you, Fraggle Rock. Appreciate it. Love it. Look at that. Give them a high five, everyone. And make sure if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Welcome. This is my club sesh. I get very stoned and we talk about important things. Today we're talking about the people who grow our cannabis and pick it and trim it and make pre-rolls and do all the things, okay? And we had some raids we've been having. California has been under attack. We are under attack by this administration because he's jealous of us because we're so successful. He's just jealous because we proved them wrong. And now he wants to punish us because because Gavin, because Melania wants to bone down Gavin. Liberty Genetics, my vacation was very fun. Lots of beach, lots of papaya, lots of mangoes. It was mango season, so I just ate as many mangoes as I could. I got a lot of video. I went to a luau for graduation, which was really fun to try like a bunch of like local dishes. And also, one of the recipes from my cookbook was there. They're the wacky weed wontons, and it's cream cheese. And I put macadamia nuts and celery. It's from my auntie. And you fry them, and then you serve them with the mustard. You take Coleman's dried mustard and you mix that with soy sauce, and then you have that with the sweet chili, like what's the brand? I don't remember the brand. It's in my cookbook. Maggie's. Anyway, sweet chili sauce with that too. Oh, so good. Classic. I don't know how to describe it. You got to just make them, okay? They're not that hard to make, but they're great appetizers. So that was at the party, this graduation. I want to say there were 800 people at this graduation. That's how many people were there. And it was really beautiful how they had the decorations. There weren't flowers. I mean, there's flowers everywhere on Kauai. They just like the whole island is covered. But it was more like palm leaves. And then, uh, what else did they have? There was shaved ice and there was dancing and live music. It was very fun. So we did that, and then another day it was I don't know. I'm deciding if I'm going to include this part in. I shot a vlog, right? So I shot a lot of this. I got a new camera, and I want to cut it into a vlog because I think it would be interesting. I don't know. Hopefully it's good. I can make it flow, but I did some other stuff too. I ate some Rocky Mountain oysters, if you know what that is. I had them raw and cooked. Preferred them actually. Might surprise you. Preferred them raw. So that will be for my Patreon. We'll have first look at that video. I'm trying to create exclusive content for the Patreon because that's really what makes this content possible. Um, what was the local cannabis like? My auntie grows, so I had her flower, and that's also going to be in the vlog. But she has like a cabinet of everything she grows. Thanks, Chris. Happy Wednesday from up north. What camera did you get? Let me look up what camera I got. Or it's in my bedroom. I'd have to go get it. Oh, what did I do with my chalk? It fall? Or did I put, oh, I put it right here. Okay, let me put this Chris Falconer. You guys, this is great. We're back. We're back. We are back. Mountain Rocky Mountain Oysters. Yes, CJ, it was intense. But what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? Someone offers you something and it's a local, whatever. I'm not going to be a wimp about it. It's not going to kill me, hopefully. I don't get the runs or anything, and I didn't. I will say I had a spoonful of papaya seeds after just in case because I was like, I don't know. I just want to make sure I don't get any like weird things later on. And I'm like, why am my stomach all upset? Yeah, so sounds like a great time. It was fun. Yes, and the horse, I got to ride a horse because I said to my cousin Tara, I was like, I really want to ride a horse. And she's like, okay. And she just right then and there just said to her friend, hey, can my cousin hop on a horse? And it's not like I got to do my full thing because my second cousin, Leolani, usually I go riding with her, but she's working. She's working on a farm and studying AI, not the AI that you think, but artificial insemination of animals. So just graduated and is going to do, I think, another 2-year program to specialize in AI. Anyway, so that's kind of like what I go. I go there while I was there. What else did I do? My uncle has some sheep, and the ram had like poo all over it, so we had to cut that out of his wool because he wasn't like my uncle has a bunch of fruit trees, and so this ram was just getting fat on fruit, but then also like lots of fruit. It's gonna make you toot. And that's what happened. So I did that, like it's very, and I picked macadamia nuts off the ground. And while CJ, the oysters were around because there were 4 calves that were, you know, luckily three girl calves and only one boy. So yeah, it was intense. Old school, yeah, it was. It's not for the faint of heart. So that's what I'm deciding. I'm like, I don't know if everyone's gonna want to see that. Um, Definitely not that part. I wouldn't include that. That I didn't film it. Okay, Bonbon, come here. Okay. Oh, Georgia Bonbon. Okay, Bonbon. Stay on your mark. Hi, Jeff. How's it going? Oh, wait. Okay, I think we're gonna do that because I think that was someone that where's Michelle? I don't know where Michelle is today. That's okay. I'll let. No, Fraggle Rock, we're not doing that. Okay. So let's hop into this topic. Okay, there's the bonbon. Let me get. Oh wait, Sorry, not me. I want to get touch the bonbon. GoPro. There. You got to be able to see that little face. Um. Oh, Chris, what kind of camera did I get? I got another Sony. It's one of their vlogging cameras, and so it's very easy for me to use. Like the camera that I'm filming on right now is very nice. It's what I shot Incredible, one of the cameras I used to shoot Incredible Edibles. Um, this camera is like, it doesn't have a big lens on it. It just has a lens it comes with, and it's like easy to use. I mean, I had like a 6-year-old using it. Um, there are so many great offal cuts when you have Farm Connections just made some delicious lamb sausages wrapped in caul fat this week. So good. Yeah, I mean, it really, like they don't waste a thing. There is not a thing, there's not one piece of that animal that will ever go to waste, of any animal, and I respect that. So, I think that's very important. And I think when you eat meat, there's always this reality that that meat is, it's an animal. So, you know, I like to. There's all of this kind of hoopla about the price of eggs right now, and the price of eggs in California are, there are regulations on. Oh wait, did you guys vote on the poll? Okay, we're gonna do the Mad Honey. Let's end this. Close poll. Couldn't decide, could you guys? Anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh, eggs. The price of eggs. It's because they have to be out like free range. They can't be in a box. They have to be able to move around and turn around. They can't like torture these poor birds. I think that's okay. I would prefer that personally, to have chickens that are can move around. Anyway, here's this Mad Honey. You guys want me to give a little boop boop? Come on. Look at that baby. So pretty. So yum yum yum. Gonna boop the house down. Bonbon is hitting her mark. Okay, so um, I want to ask you guys a question. Let me ask you another poll. I love a poll. Okay, beautiful color. Okay. Oh wait, let me redo that. I'm gonna redo that poll. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. All right. Let me put some options in. I'm sorry. I'm typing things. Um. Okay. And let me put that as a question mark. Why won't it let me start this poll? Must contain. It does. Oh no. Why isn't it working? Oh, -6. Okay, let's start this poll. Sorry that took me so long. I gotta boop. It's time to boop. Okay, we're gonna look at this poll. I'm gonna drink some water. Let's also drink water. Stay hydrated. So like, we talk about this, and there's a lot of people involved in making this because it doesn't this there this comes from the plant, and then it's either turned into, this is live rosin, so they're using fresh frozen. I want to double check that. And it's then they squish it. And that can be flour, can be hash, and then they squish it to get this really beautiful rosin, right? In the rosin press. And then they do to make it like a batter. They do different things to it. They'll like whip it, and those guys are, they do lots of fun stuff. Ooh, I want to clean this really quickly. One second. Let me get my alcohol. So the people growing those plants and trimming those plants, they're often immigrants, right? And that's anyone in agriculture in California. But I find it very interesting that like they're trying to paint the people that ICE got from Glass House. They're like, oh, this is who the Democrats are saying are farm workers. And they're like, they're growing marijuana. They're working in marijuana. I'm like, fuck you guys. You all, like, if you could make a buck off the cannabis, then it's cannabis when they want to be in that industry, when it's, white people and conservative, and it's businessmen and it's venture capitalists and it's the green rush and all of that bullshit. But when it's the farmers and the actual people growing and cultivating and trimming and processing and manufacturing this plant, because that's labor. um they it has a different name, right? And that's why in my cookbook, actually, I didn't use that, because, like, it's just not the way it's used. It's always used in a negative context, right? Most of the time. Most of the time. It's kind of, there was this film, it's what Overboard is based off of. It's an Italian film. What's it called? What's it called? Oh, I hope you can't, no, you can't hear this. Let me make sure this is turned off. What was that called? Italian version of Overboard. Movie. Swept Away, right? Swept Away was not Overboard. Swept Away was Ochinomu, Solidarity and Weed Forever. Yes. Thank you, Ochinomu. Cool. You're awesome. Okay, so there was this film in Italy, Italian film, and it's what Swept Away is based off of. Il Postino. Is that what it's called? This says it's Travolti da un insolito destino nel azzurro mare d'agosto. Maybe they changed it because that's a fucking long name. Usually shortened to Swept Away. Italian. Swept Away. Anyway, so in the film, he's like, someone's smoking pot, and he's like, they're like, la marijuana. Like the way they say it is so dramatic and like scary, and it's dramatic, just stupid. Um, and I remember it really stuck out to me. It's not, that's the only Italian film I could think of. Oh no, this is the Italian version of Swept Away. You should watch it. It's funny. It's interesting. Um, what was I gonna do? Oh, we're talking about we're talking about the people who cultivate and process and manufacture and trim and do all those things in the cannabis industry. And now ICE has been targeting those people, and they recently raided Glass House, right? And so we're going to look at that and watch some things from it. Let me pull this up first before I switched to, oh, it's not available anymore. Shit. Let me see if I can get it here. They're taking it down. That's crazy. Okay, so let's watch some news about this because I think it's interesting. Like Madonna. What's like Madonna? Um, um, are they putting ice in the marijuana? No, you do that. Are they? You do that if you're making hash. You can make iced hash, bubble hash with that. Okay, let me put my head these on. Do, 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 do. What's our goal tonight, you guys? What do you guys want me to do? What's the goal? Okay. Madonna was in a USA Swept Away. I thought it was Goldie Hawn. Wasn't it Goldie Hawn? Am I wrong? Okay, let me make sure my mic isn't getting totally squished by my headphones. Let me turn this on. Let me hear. Oh, I can't hear it. Oh no, why is it doing that? These are plugged in. I can't hear that. Let me go to browser. Pull Bonbon out. Edibles Club. Theater mode. And then Overboard Blonde Boldy. Overboard is Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Was swept away. Swept away. That's what Overboard was based on. Based on the Italian, it's called Swept Away. Is the American English version. I'm not singing like a prayer. It's not happening. I don't want to sing. Don't make me sing. That's not fair. I'm not a singer. I'm just a stoner, you guys. Speaking of, let me boop the house down right now. I cleaned my little thing, which was what I wanted to do. Gonna dump that in the old ashtray there. For the goal, like prayer, like a prayer. I don't even know the words for that. You've got a great voice, though. I do not. Thank you so much, but no. It's embarrassing for me. Look at how cute my dog is. So, can we talk about that? I sing it in my head when I go to work. Really? That's funny. Okay, so we got a large scale fire. I don't know why I can't hear this, though. Let me put this back in. Okay, here we go.
Congressman Luke Harbaugh.
I can't fucking hear shit. What the fuck? This is really bad. You know what I'm going to do? Wait just 1 second. Oops. Let me go to settings and go to sound. Road output. I hope that didn't fuck up anything for you guys. Let me see.
Was there as
There. That's working for me. Is that still working for you guys? Let me see.
well. Good evening, everybody. I'm CJ.
Can you still hear me? Just want to make sure. I'm sending Bonbon bag. I hope you like it. Okay, great. Thanks, Petra. Wikipedia dive Swept Away was remade in 2002 with Madonna, apparently. Oof. Works. Great. Cool.
Ward.
And I'm Beth Farnsworth. A violent immigration confrontation. It broke out in Carpinteria when a Homeland Security operation swooped in today.
And your news channel had a team of reporters on the scene, including John Palmentary, who begins our coverage tonight. And John, even our local congressman was denied access.
Wow.
With personnel in military gear and a scene they had never witnessed before in person in the city of Carpinteria. It took place in the intersection of Casitas Pass Road and Foothill Road about 10 o'clock this morning.
Okay, just wait. This is gonna be intense. Let me do this. Boop. We booped it. I'm crocheting a big bag. It's taking forever. Petra, you are always working so hard. I swear. I don't know how you do it. You like to keep your hands busy. I get it. I will post pictures when I finish. Okay. Yeah, it was a good goober, right, Fraggle? It was a good one. Okay, so let's watch this Glass House Farms locations in Carpinteria. RIP, because someone died during this raid. It's not.
Batman! The national immigration debate exploded without warning in Carpinteria when a large crowd squared off against both Homeland Security and National Guard personnel when they arrived and swarmed a cannabis farm. Foothill Road at Casitas Pass Road in the heavily agricultural area was blocked by military-style SWAT vehicles. Traffic was jammed up and hundreds of people came to the scene. Among them, Congressman Salud Carbajal, a former Marine. He went right to the front with his identification and demanded to speak to whoever was in charge. He almost made it through, but was grabbed and pushed back. He never got the answers he wanted.
This is just ridiculous. It's tragic and it's uncalled for.
Carbajal said he knew the property owner of the cannabis farm where the action was taking place down the street.
This is overkill. There's military personnel on our streets. Basically, they're Homeland Security people dressed as military personnel on our domestic soil. This is overkill. It's political theater by the Trump administration.
To get a school bus out, and after a warning, the crowd was briefly dispersed.
They started throwing pepper balls, tear gas, smoke, everything. Just trying to disperse us because they're scared. They know that we're gonna push back against it.
And from that, there were injuries, including a Carpinteria City Council member who said she was pushed to the ground and came up bleeding.
You know, we were just standing there. We weren't even saying anything. Oh, wow, you're injured. You're bleeding.
Others who were in the line of rubber bullets and explosives that are called flashbangs were hurt.
This is a piece of a projectile that they threw out, a flashbang in the crowd.
For those who were here, they were shocked that this could happen in Carpinteria, virtually coming out of nowhere early in the morning. At Glass House Farms, an employee who did not identify himself.
So you know why they're targeting cannabis farms? It's because then they're committing a felony because it's a Schedule 1. So it's so fucked up. They're literally using cannabis to incarcerate brown people, right? Immigrants in California. And it's sad and it's fucked up, and they should get the fuck out of our state. And this isn't what it's so hypocritical. I think that's the part that bothers me the most is how hypocritical they are. Everything is state rights, right? They get to let women bleed out in abortion ban states, in parking lots, let us die of sepsis, all that shit, because state rights. But then they come into our states and they bring the National Guard and they try to police us, and they impose their beliefs on us what the fuck is with the double standard? And that's the reality of this, is it has nothing to do with making government smaller. It's all bullshit. It's everything to do with imposing their beliefs on everyone else. And their beliefs are disgusting. They're xenophobic. They're Stephen Miller. Ugh! It makes me so angry that he went to Berkeley. I should double check that. I haven't fact checked that. Fuck that guy. Fuck Stephen Miller. Fuck you. If you ever watch this, I doubt you will, but ooh, you're such a piece of shit. How dare you be a Berkeley graduate? How dare you? How dare you implement such ugly, 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 you know, um, ways of operating in this state. It's not what California stands for, and it's not what Los Angeles stands for. And I hate that they went after the cannabis industry and how it's being used to fill to just treat people inhumanely and Claudine, I doubt they smoke pot. There's no way. They're all doing other drugs. I don't even care what they're doing. They're all fucked in the head. It's, we're all immigrants except for, I mean, technically, no one is, we're all from somewhere, right? It's debated. Is it Africa? Is it Asia? Who knows? But no one is from wherever we are. And people come in. Often we are not accepted. This is common with certain types of people in history do not like immigrants, and they are on the wrong side of history. The wrong side of history. Okay? They are not they bring so much to our country, and to be afraid of our neighbors is I'm afraid of MAGA. If my neighbor is a conservative MAGA, I'm afraid of you. Yes, you scare me. Your beliefs scare me. Okay? They do. They do because you're not you don't care about other people. That's how I see it. So you don't care about the environment. You don't care about how people are treated in this country. Anyone who's okay with alligator Alcatraz, the fact that that exists and so much money was spent on it and that people are going to be put in there. Anyway, let's keep watching this video. I'm going to boop.
Was fixing the gate that was broken down. He saw the scene and 10 people detained.
Go ahead and get
Yeah,
what
they
wanted.
just broke it down, put everybody on the ground, and then did what they wanted to
Did
do.
they go specifically for certain people?
No. No.
You think it was
So
random?
they did not have targeted
It was
people.
random, non-targeted people.
An Army veteran tried to tell the crowd not to target the personnel, but their higher-ups, who gave the orders as part of the increased effort nationally to deport criminals.
These soldiers had to obey orders, right? If they didn't obey orders, you know what would happen? General court-martial.
This scene was both emotional and shocking.
Let me tell you, I'm scared, even though that I'm a citizen and everything, but still, I'm scared, really scared for all these people.
When ISIL started to back up, the crowd started to follow. In my opinion, that's really not smart, because then that gives them a reason to start using stuff like tear gas.
Emotions are running very high in Carpinteria this evening, and there's been what is considered by many an emergency city council meeting. It was noticed a couple of days ago to talk about the
That felt
immigration
so
issue, but
nice.
certainly
I have to be honest.
now
It feels
they
really
have this
nice.
issue going on today. So City Hall at 6 o'clock when this meeting takes place will be packed. There will be an overflow crowd, no doubt, on this topic, and we are staffing that today and tonight, and we'll see it on the late night news. Reporting live in Santa Barbara, I'm News Channel reporter John Palmentary.
Okay, so that's what they're talking about. And, um, it's just been, not, people are afraid to go to work. Restaurants in California are closing because of this. Um, these raids, they don't go after, they're like, oh, we're going after criminals. It's like, no, you're not. They're not at churches. They're not at these farms. They're not in parks. They're not in MacArthur Park. You know, they're not, that's not where they're hanging out. They're too afraid to go where they're actually hanging out because then they'll have to actually have some balls. Sorry, that's not a good way of putting it, but whatever. Then they actually have to like go after people with weapons who are dangerous. They're going after farmers. They go after churches. They go after schools. They rip families apart. They're cowards. And that's, like, it's just not what this country, in my opinion, is about. And people are like, oh, well, they should do it legally. They need to come here legally. People try. Do you know how hard it is to get into this country legally? Even if you're married to an American citizen and they want to take all that shit away, right? They want to take away birthright citizenship. They're talking about doing some crazy fucking shit. Um, it's just not, it's it's stupid. All of it is really stupid. It's afraid of growth, and it's the opposite of what other our competitors, our international competitors are doing. When you look at what, China is doing, they're not like, hey, let's close down our borders and like they're like and piss off our trade partners. They're like, how do we create a network of trade, of, of international trade, so an economy. And we're doing the opposite, which is stupid. Anyway, easy money for them, for some farmers. Happened at my work, I believe. 4 Federal's National Guard are on the wrong side of this, yeah. Anyway, so this is what's happening in California right now. Let's look at like some other, let me see what this is first. Why isn't anything? I want to see what this is. Hmm. Boo, boo, boo. Ugh. One second. I want to see what you guys said. I do not know the grower. Okay, and how many of you grow? Glad I caught the show. Hi, Kyle. I'm one generation away from immigrants, both sides of my family. That's right. Like, yes, I buy from a local grower. I grow my own. I buy from a major brand. Interesting. Um, I'm glad I caught the show. Okay. I don't want to watch Fox. Um, let me make sure this works.
This is Democracy Now!
Yes. Okay, let's watch this.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. We turn now to California, where a farm worker who fell from the roof of a greenhouse during an immigration raid last week died over the weekend
Kyle.
of his injuries. 57-year-old Jaime Alanis had worked at the farm in Camarillo for...
Jaime, it's just like, can you imagine the fear? You don't want to be caught by these guys. And like, where are they going to put you? You don't know. They're just sending them anywhere. Just willy-nilly. No nothing. It's really fucked up. Right. African Americans didn't choose to be here, a lot of them. Do you think black market weed is going to make a resurgence, Cesar? I don't think so.
For 10 years.
Well, with these new taxes in California, get your medical card.
Years providing for his wife and daughter who live in Mexico. His niece says he'll now be laid to rest in his hometown of Michoacan. Jaime Alanis is the first known person to die during an immigration raid since Trump returned to office. He reportedly called his family during the raid to tell them he was hiding before falling about 30 feet from the roof. The raid there Thursday led to an hours-long standoff between protesters and federal border agents who blocked the roads with military-style vehicles and tear gas community members, including children, as crowds attempted to protect dozens of farm workers from arrest. This is one of the protesters.
Okay, let me try the other 710.
Cowards, and they've already tried to push us out, but there's more of us here now than there were before. At the end of the day, they're the ones coming from over there. They're not from here. Farmers who work here take more of a beating than anyone else. They're not the ones who deserve this treatment.
The Department of Homeland Security said over 300 immigrants were detained in dual raids on cannabis farms and agricultural fields in Camarillo and the coastal city of Carpinteria. Among those taken into custody were at least 14 immigrant children. The United Farm Workers Union issued a statement in response saying, quote, farm workers are excluded from basic child labor laws, and it's unfortunately not uncommon for teenagers to work in the fields. To be clear, detaining and deporting children is not a solution for child labor, they said. This comes as a federal judge in Los Angeles Friday issued an order temporarily blocking the Trump administration from conducting sweeping immigration raids and racially profiling people in Los Angeles and surrounding areas. Judge Mame Wuse Mensah Frimpong said agents are prohibited from targeting people based on their...
Hi, Chris. Cayucos, California. Cesar, the way it keeps getting taxed by the state is crazy. I know, but I feel like it's just more reason to have a medical card. Do you know what I mean? Just get it. That's what I'm going to do. I need to just get my medical card, and I haven't finished doing it yet, but I'm going to do it. I just want to check something. Oh, wait, no, she messaged me on Discord. Also, do you guys want to I have my Discord, right? The Patreon Discord. What percentage of taxes do you pay with the medical cannabis card? I know on July 1, yeah, they're much less. We should look up how much less. Do you guys want to do the club sesh live for the Discord? If you want to be called up. But here's the thing, if you do it, you have to turn off the sound on the live stream so we don't get double sound, right? So just don't listen. Just talk. Listen to me on the Discord and don't talk. You know what I mean? If you want to do that, that is part of the Patreon, the Discord Patreon. There's a Club Sesh Live. It's a voice channel, and you can hop in there, and I will pull you up. Okay? Anyway, let's keep watching this.
Parent ethnicity, the language they're speaking, their presence at a particular location, or the type of work they're engaged in. The judge also ordered immigration authorities to provide anyone they arrest with immediate access to lawyers. One of the plaintiffs in the case, Brian Gavidia, who was aggressively pushed against a fence by ICE agents during a raid and questions as he repeatedly told the agents he was a U.S. citizen, spoke at a news conference Friday.
I truly believe that. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in America. I believe in what we stand. I believe in this court system. And I believe that what's going down right now in the United States is wrong. I believe in the Constitution. We are ignoring the Constitution at this very moment. It is not right. We will not stand down. We are all Americans here. We will not allow this to happen. We follow the Constitution.
For more, we're joined by two guests. Angel Marie Taylor is an undergraduate student in her senior year at California State University, Channel Islands, a volunteer with 805 Immigrant Coalition. 805 Immigrant Coalition was present during the federal immigration raid in Camarillo. And Lewis MacArthur is mayor of Oxnard, California, about 10 miles from Camarillo. He was previously the police commander of Oxnard and worked on the police force there for 35 years, now speaking out against the ICE raids, saying they're, quote, aggressive, demonstrating insensitivity toward the direct impact on our community. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! I want to begin with Angel Marie Taylor. Describe the raid that you saw. You are an eyewitness.
It was almost unlike anything that we had ever seen before. Most of the protesters out there are your average people. We are average community members who have been volunteering our time to patrol our own streets to keep each other safe from these ICE agents, ICE thugs, I would say, who have been operating entirely outside of the law, not identifying themselves, not allowing us our rights. And that's just us as protesters who come to witness and document these raids. That's not even to speak to the even more intense violence that the farm workers themselves experience in the blocked off area. As you mentioned, where over 300 people from our community were taken.
And Mayor, if you can talk about what is happening. You're the former police chief. Now you are the mayor of Oxnard. In a social media post you wrote, while this matter is taking place outside the jurisdiction of Oxnard, I'm increasingly mindful that many of the facility's employees are likely from Oxnard and are seeking refuge in their vehicles amidst the high temperatures, raising concerns about the safety and well-being of those individuals. Can you talk about the Oxnard residents, Lewis MacArthur, who were targeted?
Okay, just pause. I just want to say I have this new, it's not on my Amazon storefront. I have one on my Amazon storefront that I was using for a while, but I've been using this one from Puffco for a second. This is their little heated knife situation. Wowie. I need to move back to Oregon. California tax is a joke. Hi, Eddie Moretti. I know, it is a joke. Here for a beat.
Yes, absolutely. You know, what we're seeing is these unjust and harmful actions by ICE officials without following any due process. And we had it hit home here on several instances. As you may know, Oxnard is the largest city in Ventura County. Ventura County has about 830,000 residents. Oxnard has about a quarter of those residents. And many of them, when I heard about what was unfolding there at the Glass House in Camarillo, which is right next door to us, just a few miles away, I know, having grown up here in Oxnard, that many of the individuals that worked at the Glass House were Oxnard residents. And so that's what caused me to turn back around. I was headed to Los Angeles to come back and to be present. And what I also saw is just a lot of insensitivity. I was personally receiving phone calls because my cell phone number was shared from people that were inside the facility that were taking refuge in their cars and with the sun as strong as it was that day and the number of hours that the operation lasted. It became very evident as to what I had stated previously, that these actions are very harmful to our community.
See, it's not good for the community. And I was watching, okay, wait, I shouldn't have put the lid on. Let me do this first really quickly. So I'm going to pulse it because this is a very hot one. Boop. Okay, we booped it. That was kind of a big goober. This is the upside down. This is the upside down frown, number 15. Okay, so then taxes. I know Penny Quarter and Nicole say hi. Tell them hi. Meh. Do goats do that? I don't know. What do they do? That's what the sheep did. The ram would follow me around. I would give them my mango peels and my papaya peels. They loved it. They loved it. We thought they were going to have their babies, but they didn't.
To individuals, we're talking about human beings. We're talking about parents, just like the gentleman that passed because of the chaotic actions of ICE. I'm not saying that the ICE agents killed the gentleman, but because of the chaotic actions, they caused this man and others to seek refuge, and this man fell down from the roof head first, from what I understand, and died as a result of that. And then we had people that actually sought refuge as well, not only in their cars, but also on the dirt field and covered themselves up with dirt. And that was information that was being relayed or trying to be relayed to these ICE agents. But the fact that they work in secrecy without a person willing to interact while I was there on site, there was no deliberate intent by anyone from ICE to come out and just engage in some dialogue with us so that we can relay this information. There was none of that. And that's what we're talking about, is just a lack of due process. And as I have asserted, like any other police officer, with the tenure of time that I spent in the police force, I've arrested some of the most just persons that had committed atrocious crimes in our city, from murderers to folks that have sexually assaulted others, and just a number of other felonious crimes. But nonetheless, those individuals were afforded
I like that one too.
Following the 5th and 14th Amendment of our Constitution. They were afforded the right to see an attorney, to consult with an attorney, to stand before a judge, and to be made available
Hi, Ramona.
an opportunity to defend themselves. And that's not what we're seeing now. We're seeing people
Hi,
being
Victor.
expedited out of here. And that's why the errors are occurring. And for us as a community, what it's doing, not only is it impacting our economy, but it's directly impacting children who are oftentimes left with mom and dad here to care for them. And this is putting a tremendous amount of strain. We're seeing a lot of nonprofits come out and help and stepping up, but we can't endure this much longer.
Mayor,
and this is what would be done.
I want to go to Angel Marie Taylor. You're an undergraduate student in your senior year at California State University. On Thursday, you were at the raid with John Caravello, a faculty member at your university who was arrested and remains detained. I want to turn to him speaking the night before the raid, Wednesday, at the Camarillo City Council meeting's public comment period.
My name is John Caravello, and I'm a professor at CSU Channel Islands. I'm also a longtime organizer with Ventura County Tenants Union, and more recently a volunteer with VC Defensa. Many of my students are undocumented, and many of their families are undocumented. It's my responsibility to protect them, and so I've been patrolling the city streets, following armed, masked thugs trying to kidnap my neighbors. Many call these neighbors illegal, but let's talk for a second about what's really illegal. When the U.S. bombed civilian nuclear sites like they did in Iran late last month, it's illegal. When the U.S. provides weapons to an apartheid state to fuel a genocide like it continues to do in Palestine, it is illegal. And today, armed masked thugs are bending the knee to just follow orders to kidnap, imprison, and deport our neighbors to countries that we destabilize, that we have under the thumb of our political and economic domination, whose soil we destroy with pesticide-ridden bananas, whose leaders we depose, and whose people our media continue to dehumanize. Who are we to constrict the movement of our fellow human beings? Who are we to judge how people choose to live? ICE is not welcome here, just like the U.S. is not welcome in other countries. And you, our elected officials, should swear them off, if not in policy, then in spirit, to at the very least pay back your undocumented community members for picking your strawberries. No one is illegal. Power to the people.
So that is John Caravello, who is a faculty member at California State University, Channel Islands, where Angel Marie Taylor, you teach. He was arrested the next day. Can we just have 30 seconds? He hasn't been released yet?
For
No, Professor
what?
Caravello hasn't been released, and as you've heard in that public comment, he
For
has always used
what?
his voice to speak up for those around him.
Arrested
Myself, as
for
a student and coming
what?
from an immigrant background, like most other students here in CSU Channel Islands, Professor Caravello has been continuously targeted because of his outspoken views to defend his community, and he was one of the protesters on the ground who was helping other protesters amidst the violence.
Well, I want to thank you both for being with us. Of course, we'll continue to cover this as the judge in Los Angeles ruled that migrants can no longer be rounded up in Los Angeles without cause. Angel Marie Taylor, student and volunteer with 805 Immigrant Coalition, thank you for being with us. And Luis MacArthur, mayor of Oxnard, 10 miles from Camarillo. Previously, the police commander of Oxnard. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video.
Okay, that was good.
Audience-supported journalism.
That was very good. Made himself a target against the system. Very messed up, right? Very messed up. Okay, so basically, it's messed up because, like I said, it's a Schedule 1 drug. So now they are considered felons. And who knows what this administration and Stephen Miller are going to do with that. I want to double check that. I'm pretty sure he did. Was I wrong? I hope. Wouldn't that be lovely? I hope I'm wrong. Stephen Miller. Did he go to University of... Oh, he went to Duke. Oh, thank God. There was some other crazy conservative that went to UC Berkeley. Thank good. That's good. I'm so glad it's not him. Fuck this guy. Stephen Miller. And this is his policy that is happening right now. What's his bone to pick with California, you piece of shit? The racist, yeah. Let me see if there's not a good thing to watch. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch him. He creeps me out. And I don't want to watch Fox because they're disgusting. And that's the only place that he is. Has anyone seen that Mike Tyson is petitioning for reclassification? I don't care about him. Sorry. I don't really care about Mike Tyson. Let's see what this says. This is an article. I want to make sure I can go to it without it needing a paywall. Uh-oh. Yeah. Okay.
This is Democracy Now!
Never mind. I want to ask you guys some questions. This is a heavy conversation. Make sure you're green, clean, kids. Well, it's interesting. I wanted to bring up. Yeah, exactly. Copy this. Let me see if we can. Is this reading? Damn it.
This is Democracy Now!
Sorry. Oh, it should work. Why isn't it?
DemocracyNow.org.
Democracy Now! And I wanted to watch something else. I want to watch this.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. We end today's show in California, where a farm worker who fell from the roof of a greenhouse during an immigration raid last week died over the weekend. His name, Jaime Alanis, 57 years old. He'd worked at the farm in Camarillo for 10 years and provided for his wife and daughter who live in Mexico. His niece says he will now be...
This is what Trump ran on. This is what a lot of people voted for. They wanted this. They're happy that he's doing this. And I think it's been a wake-up call for a lot of people that, hey, wait a minute. You said you were going to go after criminals. And that's not what you're doing. But, technically, it's an easy target, but it's fucked up. So, anyway, hi, Simsy. Hi, Simsy.
He laid to rest in his hometown of Michoacan. The raid Thursday led to an hours-long confrontation between protesters defending the workers and federal border agents who tear-gassed crowds, which included children. Alanis is the first known person to die in an immigration raid as part of Trump's crackdown. A fundraising campaign for his family has raised more than $150,000. More than 360 people were arrested that day in dual raids and the coast, both in Camarillo and the coastal city of Carpinteria. As raids terrorize immigrant communities, people are also organizing and fighting back. We're joined now in Kern County, California, by Teresa Romero, longtime labor leader, first immigrant Latina president of United Farm Workers of America. Welcome back to Democracy Now!, Teresa. It's wonderful to have you with us. If you can talk about this moment in history, we don't know how many hundreds, if not thousands, of farm workers have been detained, as many people say kidnapped. If you can tell us what the situation is now, President Trump pulling back 2,000 National Guard in Los Angeles, but leaving 2,000 there, not to mention somewhere around 700 Marines. If you can tell us what the situation is and how you're organizing.
Thank you very much for having me, Amy. I really appreciate it. This is such an important issue. Farm workers in our communities are terrified. We have families who are being destroyed. Like you said, Juan Alanis Garcia died as a result of these raids. And we need to understand that I have been using this word kidnapping for a long time because people are showing up, are wearing masks. They don't have an identification that they're showing to the workers. They have unmarked vehicles. They were there in great numbers. And if they had had a search warrant or an arrest warrant, all they needed to do was knock on the door and would let them in, and they would have been arrested, the person they were looking for. Unfortunately, the way they did it was to intimidate people, to intimidate farm workers, and it worked. Farm workers are terrified right now.
And what is happening in terms of the agricultural industry as a whole with these raids and with workers even being able to show up in the fields?
You know, Juan, what happens is when something like this occurs in their communities, they may not go to work for a day or two, maybe 3. We need to remember that farm workers do not make a lot of money. A lot of them are seasonal workers, so they cannot afford to not go to work. They have a family to support. Right now, that's pretty much all they do. Go to work and come home. And every time they leave their homes, they're terrified, not knowing if they're going to come back. And their children, who in many cases are U.S. citizens, are terrified to go to school because they don't know if mom and dad are going to be home when they get back.
And the Trump administration seems to be just reacting to what the agribusiness industry's economic concerns, but the farm workers are being left out of any discussions here as to possible next steps by the administration in handling farm labor. Could you talk about what your union would like to see?
Of course, and for many years, for decades, farm workers have not had a seat at the table. The previous administration, thankfully so, we did, but it's going back to where farm worker voices are not heard. What they're trying to do right now is deport and replace. They want to deport farm workers who have been working in the fields, putting food on our tables for decades, and want to replace them with workers who come here with the H-2A visa program. These farm workers are even more vulnerable because they're under 100% under the control of the employer. So this is not the answer. Replacing people who are experienced, who are professional, who have been in agriculture working sometimes for decades, 3-4 decades, it is not how we should repay them for the sacrifice and hard work.
I want to turn to Flor, a Mexican immigrant who picks strawberries in the agricultural town of Oxnard, California. Yesterday, we interviewed the mayor of Oxnard. She says the recent immigration raids have terrorized her community. She talks about her work.
Yes, lately it's been very ugly at our job site because we were working and the immigration cars are passing by. It has affected us a lot at work. We have lost days without going to work. We have been stressed out, afraid to go out to work in the mornings, with fear of not knowing if we're going to get home or not. Well, I'm more afraid because I'm a single mother, and I have 3 children who depend on me. And it breaks my heart that every time I leave the house, they tell me, "Mommy, be careful, because they can take you and send you to Mexico, and we're going to stay here without you."
That's Flora, a farm worker in Oxnard. She says she's paid $3.20 for a 20-pound box of strawberries. Can you talk about the conditions and the economics of being a farm worker, and then talk about children?
You know, the conditions in the fields are very difficult. In California, there are areas where the temperatures can get to 120, 150 degrees, and the workers are toiling the fields no matter what. They are bending over. They are picking whatever crop they keep picking. They run, for example, tomatoes. They run.
Just want to let you guys know that the goal is to sing like a prayer, Harry. And there's 2 hours, but it might end before then if I decide. I'm not going to do it. And it's that high because that's how much I don't want to sing. So if you really want me to sing, you better rally the crowd, get the people going, and get people to send super chats. Has to be a teal super chat for it, or whatever. It could be super chat or gifts. And I will sing. I'll look up the lyrics for like a prayer. I think I know. I think I can kind of get through it, but it'll help to have the lyrics. So that's why it's so high. It's because I don't want to do it, you know? If I'm being honest. So if I'm going to do it, you better fucking pay me, please. Ugh, I don't want to sing. Anyway, let's keep watching. Important things. More important than singing Madonna. But I just want to let you guys know what that's about and what the goal is. And your name will come up here. I write your name on the board. And we'll see everybody's name at the end of this sesh.
Onto a truck to dump the buckets, and they run back again and do it all over again. This is something that it's dangerous. Workers have died because of heat illness. We have fought very hard right now, and we have filed lawsuits to prevent the administration and ICE from detaining people just because of the work that they're doing, the language that they speak, the color of their skin, and the judge agreed with us. The judge gave us a temporary restraining order. Of course, the administration is saying that they're going to deport it. They're going to fight it. But it is just unfair that good, hardworking people are being targeted like this. They're not criminals. They're not criminals, and sooner or later, the agriculture industry is going to suffer. When it comes to families, like I said earlier, farm workers are going to work and coming back home. They don't go out to the park with the kids. They don't go to school functions with the kids. They don't take the kids on a weekend for a hamburger. It is affecting themselves, their family, and their communities to a great extent.
I wanted to ask you, Teresa, there are some farm worker advocacy groups, for instance, like the group Somos Poder del Pueblo, We Are the Power of the People, that are calling for a more militant response, possibly a nationwide strike of farm workers in response to Trump's attacks. And they've circled the dates of July 16th to the 18th. What is the United Farm Workers' view of this kind of action at this point?
Involved in this action. Look, we empower workers to do what they think it is the best thing to do to protect their rights. We know from experience, and our history, that a strike takes a lot of discipline, a lot of work and engagement, a lot of commitment, and a lot of time to plan and organize. So although we see what they're doing, this is not something that we're involved. If we ever get to a point where we're going to do that, it would take a lot of planning, looking at the pros and cons under the circumstances. So all I'm asking is whoever's going to be out there to just be careful. We don't want these people that are fighting for others to be retaliated against and detained by ICE.
Teresa Romero, we want to thank you for being with us. Longtime labor leader, president of the United Farm Workers. I'm Mimi Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast.
I ordered a salad, you guys. I ordered a salad from Jones on 3rd. That sounded good to me. I'm going to eat a little bit of salad, and I got a lemon bar, and I got a cupcake. I'm not going to lie. I needed a little sweet, some sweet treats. Anyway, so, and it's interesting because they are workers, and they thought we've been told, like, what's the dealio? Do you know how many people, do you know how many libertarian weed bros told me that this administration was going to legalize because Bobby Jr. was attached to Bozo dude, Dictator Donnie? That's what they said, and look at how wrong they were. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. Once again, cannabis is being used as a way to incarcerate and they need people for alligator Alcatraz, and it's terrible. They're selling merch. Hi, DJ Free Sounds. So I wonder if this will let me do it. Let me read this to you guys. Okay. U.S. undocumented, which is just undocumented without papers. Same thing. Farm workers feel hunted like animals amid Trump's immigration raids. ICE raids have caused workers to lose hours and income and force them into hiding at home, according to interviews. Undocumented farm workers feel they're being hunted like animals, they told The Guardian, as Donald Trump's administration ramps up its crackdown on immigration. Raids by immigration and customs enforcement have caused workers to lose hours and income and force them into hiding at home, according to interviews. With many U.S. farms reliant on workers to function, the U.S. president and his administration have sought to reassure their owners in recent months, but Trump's pledge to put farmers in charge of immigration enforcement alarmed workers' rights advocates who suggested they were being asked to surrender their freedom to their employer just to stay in the country. We feel like we're being hunted. We're being hunted like animals, said a worker in Ventura County, California, who requested to remain anonymous for fear of retaliation. Duh, definitely don't give their name. That's what I'm having, minus the cupcake. They put fentanyl on Schedule 1 today, so weed's just as bad as that. Isn't that so fucked up, Liberty? Isn't that so stupid? Schedule 1. And it was supposed to be rescheduled. We were working toward that. Now it's not going to be that because they need to use it to put people in their fucking bullshit. And alligator Alcatraz is just the first. It's just the first. So who knows what this guy has planned? Disgusting things. So dark times, people. If I ever, you know, you know what happened. It's because I talk too much. I have a loud mouth. Someone has to say something. People have to say something. People have to speak up. It's not okay. What's happening is not okay. It's not okay. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And we need to show up for the midterms. And we need to vote, and we need to not sit it out, and we need to think local, and we need to vote local, and we need to make changes. And I know it's hard, and I know they gerrymander, and I know that they make it difficult. And you know, did you see Skid Row? What happened on Skid Row? Okay, so let's keep reading. An ICE raid at a cannabis farm in the county last week resulted in a worker and later dying. The raid sparked protests with federal agents using smoke canisters in a bid to disperse a crowd of hundreds of protesters. You can't go out peacefully to do things or go to work with any peace of mind anymore. We're stressed out and our kids are stressed out. No one is the same since their raid started. We are stressed and worrying if it continues like this, what are we going to do? Because the rent here is very expensive and it has affected us a lot. How are we going to make ends meet if this continues? Abigail Jackson, a White House spokesperson, said, President Trump is a tireless advocate for American farmers. They keep our families fed and our country prosperous. He trusts farmers and is committed to ensuring they have the workforce they needed to remain successful. The Department of Agriculture and ICE did not respond to requests for comment. Most of the more than 2.6 million farm workers in the U.S. are Hispanic, non-citizen immigrants. Around 40% of U.S. farm workers are estimated to be undocumented. Whatever that means. Last month, the Trump administration called for ICE arrest quotas of 3,000 per day, up from 1,000. Following criticism of the raids, Trump claimed that changes were coming to how raids were conducted in agriculture, hospitality, and food service. Through a directive issued by ICE to stop targeting such sites was reversed. Though a directive issued by ICE to stop targeting such sites was reversed. let me just see this. Trump decides, this was June 18th, so um, last month, to pause ICE raids in agriculture and meatpacking, and House then quickly reverses course. Leadership at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security reversed the June 12 directive to not conduct arrests and ICE raids at farms, hotel, and restaurants via a phone call to Immigration and Customs Enforcement staff at 30 field offices across the country. Okay. Stupido. Stupido. Some of them need to go ASAP. Yeah. That's true about immigrant those Russian. What? What? What's going on here? What are we saying, Lucky Charm Show? What are we saying here? It's hard to immigrate to this country. You know, it's hard to do it legally, and it shouldn't be that difficult. There needs to be a easier process. Um, because we rely on immigrants. We need them. We do. We just do. So, get over it and like listen. Do you like the food that's been cooked in the country? Because that's who's been cooking our food. It's not Americans cooking food. I can tell you that. So, unless you're paying some rich kid whose parents paid for culinary school so he could like go to the farmer's market early in the morning and pick the best of the best and do and pickle it. And oh my God. Ugh. Okay? So there you go. Best food is cooked by immigrants. What was that, your propaganda Barbie impression? That was my, yes. Who would work for ICE is scary, true. Um, every immigrant is, you know, like there needs to be a path. If you want to be an American citizen, there needs to be a way to be an American citizen. And if you're working here and you're paying taxes, you should be able to be a citizen. And that's the case with, especially with people working in the cannabis industry. So, you know, like, come on. It's so highly regulated. All right, let's keep going. Last month, the Trump administration called for ICE for 3,000 per day, up from 1,000. Following criticism of the raids, Trump claimed that changes were coming. Oh, wait, then we read this. Trump recently claimed the administration is looking into legislation to defer immigration enforcement on farms to farmers. Okay, how I gotta think how I did. Farmers! That's not him. Farmers! Look! They know better. I can't do him. He's so stupid. They work with them for years, he said at a rally in Iowa on the 3rd of July. What the fuck is the point of that? The U.S. president is clearly trying to give corporate leaders a close to slavery, oh God, that he can give to them, claimed Rosalinda Gillen, a farm worker from Washington, community organizer and founder of the nonprofit Community to Community. Giving workers an opportunity who are already here in this country the ability to work and support their families and stay in this country by giving up their dignity and their freedom to their employer. If that isn't a definition of slavery, I don't know what is. It definitely sounds like serfdom. Hi, Christian Gutierrez. Are you ready for today's conversation? We've been going for a couple hours now. Okay, or like whatever. We started at 4:20, almost 2 hours. Trump has indicated that his administration could issue temporary passes to immigrant workers. Even Trump consumes products being produced by farm workers without realizing who produced these for him. Lazaro Alvarez, a member of the Workers' Center of Central New York and Alianza Agricola, who has worked on a farm for more than a decade, said. They have really demonized us with the word criminals, Alvarez says. Despite the fact that we are undocumented, we pay taxes. We are invisible to the government until we pay taxes, and we don't receive any benefits. So they are getting taxation without representation. That is what that is, okay? That is what they're experiencing, and now they're getting rounded up and sent to God knows where, okay? Teresa Romero, president of United Farm Workers, a labor union representing farm workers, said everything that he's doing to detain these workers is unconstitutional. They don't have a document signed by a judge. They don't have a court order. They want to just eliminate protections of farm workers who are currently here and have been working in the field for 20 to 30 years. These workers who have not committed any crime or being taken by people who are masked, are not wearing a uniform, and don't have a marked vehicle. So they are essentially being kidnapped. The impacts of these raids on farm workers will reverberate, Romero warned, from the communities being affected to consumers who rely on the work of farm workers. There's a lot of fear of going to work, said Dr. Sarai Martinez, executive director of Centro Binacional para el Desarrollo Indígena Oaxaqueño, which works in the Central Valley and on the central coast of California with indigenous farm workers. She added that family dynamics among farm workers have been changing due to the ICE raids, as parents will alternate between who goes to work and who stays home with the children. Right? Because in case one of them gets taken, there's someone at home with the children. How awful. To ensure they aren't both arrested and separated from their children. Thank you, Christian. Oh my gosh, late fee. That you're paying a late tax. So yay, we got one towards, listen, I'm really hoping we don't hit 30. So, but Christian, let me put your name on the board. I hope I don't forget where I am in the thing. Let me put this chalk down. I got to buy some more chalk, you guys. I got to get some more chalk. Christian. Oops. Sorry. Double R, right? Right? Is it a double R? Yes, it's a double R. Good. I messed up on one of the R's a little bit, but I did it. Okay, so we did that. Thank you so much. We love it. If someone tried throwing me in a van and defending myself, I'm against the government. Yeah. Exactly. This administration is targeting and just racially profiling anyone at this point that is brown, and it's intimidating workers, said Martinez. There's a broader agenda of this administration, who and how they want workers to be employed in the country, and I think we need to be aware of that, and we need to be organizing. Luis Jimenez, an undocumented farm worker in central New York for 21 years, said the raids have affected the mental health of many undocumented farm workers. I can't imagine. A lot of people come here to work, and their families back home depend on the work and the support from them. So it would be a tragedy if they were arrested and deported, he said. We don't know who is going to report us or at what moment. If we go out, we will be reported to ICE because of the propaganda the federal government has been carrying out against the immigrant community. What does this remind you of? Okay? There are many people who are racist but do not realize it affects them too, added Jimenez. The immigrant community and migrant labor supports the agricultural industry and makes the economy grow. And if the economy is good, then those people are better off financially. And there are people who don't care about that because of the simple fact of wanting to get immigrants out of this country. Back in Ventura County, the undocumented farm worker warned of far-reaching consequences should Trump press ahead with his crackdown.
If there are no immigrants, there is no food, there are no houses, no hotels, no people who do the work in restaurants, which are like, there's so many jobs they hold, and they're often bussers and they're often dishwashers. Like, it's not people, we don't have. We don't have the workforce. They said without us, food is going to be more expensive. We're essential. We worked through COVID. We worked through the wildfires in Los Angeles. We get up at 4 a.m. every day. No one is willing to work the 8-hour, 10-hour days we wait the way we do. We're not criminals. We're hardworking people trying to give our kids a better life. And we contribute a lot to this country. I agree. And there needs to be a path to citizenship for them. And that if I was, the Democratic Party, what I would be doing is talking about what is the plan? What is the plan? How are you going to deal with immigration? Tell me about your plan. Tell us how you would do it better. Just map it out. We need a business plan. Bitch, you want us to invest in you. You want us to give you $5. You want us to give you $10. Tell me how you plan to spend my money. Okay? And you're raising all of this money. We need to see the business plan. We need to see what your plan is. What's your plan on immigration? What's your plan on healthcare? What is the plan? We need to be able to tell people what you're going to do with our tax dollars, because they told us what they were going to do. Okay? I need a boop. They told us what they were. I was charging my pro. And I need something to drink. I'm going to get myself an Arnold Palmer. So listen, they told us what they were going to do, this administration, and they have been executing it. It's called Project 2025, and it's disgusting, and they are checking off that list. Okay? So if you want to see what the game plan is, and everyone, that stupid ass comedian, whatever, I don't want to say his name. He's such a piece of shit, who's crying now, that's saying he didn't know that Trump was going to do this. This isn't what he voted for. This isn't what he fucking fed to his sheep and got them to scribble in, like, check mark Trump, and then probably not vote for anything else because whatever. Anyway, this is what they had planned. And so we need to know what the plan is. What's our plan? What's the Democrats' plan for immigration? What's the game plan? What are we going to do? What's the path to citizenship? If you've been working in this country for 20 to 30 years, what is the plan, right? How do they become a citizen? What is the path to citizenship? Okay. And how do they do that without having to pay for an expensive lawyer? Do you know what I mean? It can't just be for the wealthy. There has to be a path forward for everyone. It has to be for people who are working. And that just needs to be a thing that can happen. Maybe it's not citizenship. Maybe it's easier to get a visa or a green card or something so that so people can stay here who are paying taxes, and they can contribute to the country, and they can benefit from the country. And like, what the fuck is the American dream? Does it not exist anymore? This is supposed to be a Make America Great Again party, right? Oh my God, the dog is twitching and making noises. She's so funny. Let me turn off anyway, I'm preaching, but let me move it. Let me see if I can get another video for us to watch, okay? Oops, not this. My parents both immigrated here, and they say that back in the 80s it was easier than now. For sure, 1,000%. Like when my grandmother immigrated here from Sicily, like they just came in on a boat, and then they're like, okay, your name's not Calodra anymore, it's Claire. That's it. That was it. There wasn't anything else to it. I want to see. Oops. 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 Don't drop things. It was never great being, yeah. I want to make sure this
So let's talk about immigration. I think there's a lot of misconceptions, as there is on any highly volatile and very difficult policy issue. One is that immigrants are responsible for crime, in particular undocumented immigrants or claimants to asylum.
Okay, let me play this, okay?
So let's talk about immigration.
I'm going to be right back.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions, as there is on any highly volatile and very difficult policy issue. One is that immigrants are responsible for crime, in particular undocumented immigrants or claimants to asylum or refugees. But overwhelmingly, the evidence shows, and has consistently for years, that immigrants, particularly those seeking asylum or refugees or undocumented, are less likely to commit crimes by several orders of magnitude than either native-born American citizens or not native-born American citizens. The last thing an undocumented immigrant wants to do is draw the attention of the police. They want to hide. They want to disappear into the community, disappear into hopefully work, school, housing, grocery shopping, whatever one does. They do not want to be in a position where there's suddenly going to be an enormous amount of official, legal policing attention to them. They're no more likely to commit crimes than anybody else, and in fact, for those kind of purposes, for those kind of reasons, less likely to do so. Crime is just not an immigration issue. It's in some ways the opposite of an immigration issue. I think the second misconception is taking jobs. There has been an enormous amount of research by economists, some sociologists. In general, there's very little evidence that immigrants take jobs, even from people whose jobs are relatively similar to the kind of jobs they would be doing. There are several reasons for that. One is that immigrants are simply willing to work harder for lower pay in worse job conditions without unionization than American workers. The reserve wage, the wage at which people are willing to take jobs, it's not coincidence that American workers mostly don't do construction, mostly don't do gardening, mostly don't do a lot of childcare. Those are hard jobs. They're sometimes dangerous. So immigrants take jobs, but they generally are taking jobs that Americans are much more reluctant to take, or at least won't take under the conditions in which immigrants are willing to take them. Actually, there's some pretty good evidence that immigrants create job opportunities rather than taking jobs away. So if you think about areas where population has moved away, and you suddenly get a big influx of immigrants moving into the community, that actually creates jobs. There's the possibility for opening small businesses. There are teachers in the schools. There are nurses in the local urgent care centers, construction workers. You have a big influx of people into a community. Jobs get created rather than replaced. A third misconception is that they're not patriotic. They're not American. They want to hang on to their language and not learn English. The perception that immigrants are not, cannot become, do not want to become American is, again, just flat wrong, with obvious occasional exceptions. Immigrant children actually prefer English, that sometimes families have a hard time in maintaining the language of their home country because the kids want to watch American TV, they want to have friends, they want to play video games with the other kids in school. That's all done in English. If you look at public opinion surveys, immigrants tend to be extremely patriotic about the United States. They're grateful to be here. They would like better conditions, and they would like to be accepted more. I mean, it's not that they don't have any concerns, but they come to the United States sometimes under extraordinary, difficult conditions because they want to be here, because they think there are jobs, perhaps for religious reasons, perhaps because they think their children are going to have a lot better life. I mean, these are self-selected movers into a country that they expend an enormous amount of time, energy, money, physical danger to get to. So they really want to be in the United States.
Okay. All right. So that was that. I don't want to play that. Just 1 second. Um. Oops. That's really long. Okay, I'm gonna play. How long is this? This is 21 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna start playing this. I have to go again. I'm sorry, but you know, I got it. I wanna like. I need to go and whatever. None of your business. I'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. This is Jacqueline Watson with JLW Immigration Law Group, and I am so happy to introduce our brand new attorney, yay, Elsa Guerra, from San Antonio. She's just lovely. Hi, Elsa. You're on mute.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for presenting me.
I read somewhere that you're on mute is like the phrase of the the phrase of the pandemic era. And I do it all the time, so definitely no shame.
Thank you.
It's a power move.
It is.
Elsa is a wonderful immigration attorney. She is now available for appointments and help and assistance, and she's already been my right hand. I'm so happy to have you, Elsa. I can't even put it into words.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Well, we were going to talk today about all the immigration myths out there. Myths, lies, frankly, they're not myths. They're lies about immigrants, about immigration, about their contributions to the United States, and just maybe try to help ease the tide of the dunking on immigrants. Elsa, what do you think is like one of the most damaging lies they say about immigrants and immigration?
I honestly, that there's so many, especially during the election season. I think it's so important to be doing this and making sure that everybody has a good understanding about how much they provide for, not only our community, but really our country. The number one thing that I think is most important or most commonly heard is that they don't pay taxes. And I think that is just so crazy when you think about that.
I hate that one too, because immigrant households actually pay nearly one in every 6 tax dollars collected by federal, state, and local governments, which adds up in 2022. That added up to 579.1 billion with a B in taxes paid by people with undocumented immigrants in their households.
That's a lot.
That's a ton.
That's a ton.
And I clearly did not put my phone on mute. Sorry about that. Faux pas. Another faux pas of the 21st century. Yeah, and not only do these taxes not only fund our government, our infrastructure, they also fund Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare and benefits that U.S. citizens also take advantage of. And a lot of these immigrants are also not taking advantage of these benefits because even though they're paying into our tax system, they're not eligible for benefits for the most part. What's another one that you hate? Let's talk about what we hate today.
I think there's just so many that they're taking jobs. That's a big one, I think.
That is a big one. Immigrants, actually, when it comes to working, immigrants tend to take jobs that U.S. citizens do not want. Not that they're taking jobs that
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Good night, Christian. Thank you so much for the chat. Deepica, thanks for doing such an important topic. Yes, of course. The stream, Christian, just so you know, it's going to be Sunday. I'm switching to Sunday for the stream, for the kitchen sesh, because I've got to get my hair done. Sorry. I know that sounds super diva, but my guy is my guy, and his schedule is packed, and I get when I get, and I don't get upset. And that's how I feel about it. And so that's how we all feel about it because we love my hair, right? He does such a good job. There's no one like him. He's really great. And um I just got back from vacation. It's all like yucky and kind of bleached out. So, I was at the bookstore in Montpellier, Vermont and peeped your cookbook, prime location too. Oh, awesome. That's great. That makes me so happy. I hope it's doing well in stores. I really do. I hope it's selling well. I hope people see it and they're like, yes, this is for me. Please go get it. If you haven't got my cookbook yet, it's really excellent. You can support local bookstores. It's great. I'm going to be at different events and doing festivals. Um, selling the book. And I just got some new club merch printed, so that's going to be awesome. I'm waiting for my salad. It's going to get to me. It says it'll be here in like 20 to 30 minutes. I know it's a long time. I ordered from somewhere far away. I should have ordered from a little bit closer, but it's okay. Okay, so should we keep watching this? Oh, wait. Let's watch
What
this.
was your reaction in general as just an American citizen in terms of what they were trying to do?
I was amazed how radical it was. I mean, I remember reading through it and I kept walking out of my office to my wife, like, you won't believe what I'm reading here. Can you believe they're saying this?
I don't know if
Hi,
we can watch
everyone, and
this,
welcome back
but
to this episode of Next Question. Project 2025 is a nearly 1,000-page document that is designed to serve as a blueprint for transforming American society. Most people, of course, heard of it prior to the election, but many people hadn't and still haven't read it. And those who did read it
Christian.
thought there was no way in hell that Donald Trump would actually implement it. Well, guess what? He has.
Yeah.
So here are the questions. What does Project 2025 actually say?
Do.
What does it mean? And is there any way to stop what
it.
seems to be this runaway train?
Tell me,
David
Katie.
Graham, who's a writer for The Atlantic, has written a new book called The Project, How Project 2025 is Reshaping America. And he's here to answer those questions and more. I think you're one of the few people, David, who has read Project 2025's mandate for leadership cover to cover. It's almost 1,000 pages, 922. So in broad strokes, what was your takeaway after reading the whole damn thing?
Right. I'd read bits and pieces during the campaign, but I hadn't read the whole thing. And when I actually sat down to read it, I was pretty astonished. It was a richer document than I had realized. It was more radical. It was more interesting. There are these conflicts in it. And it seemed like such a roadmap to what we would expect from a Trump administration. And I think that's exactly how it's played out.
You were initially somewhat skeptical of the hype around Project 2025. But as you said, it was much more radical than you thought. Can you tell us more about that and what you ascertained that made you think, Jesus, this is pretty serious stuff?
We get these kind of policy blueprints every 4 years, and often they're just kind of lists of policies people want. And that's what I thought this was too. But this is really a whole scheme for remaking the federal government and then remaking American society. I think its ambitions are just much broader. And it has methods. I mean, they've thought about how to make these things happen in a way that the typical policy list just doesn't have.
This is too boring for me.
A lot of this is being justified by the idea that crime is on the rise. And as Maria pointed out, the kinds of crime they're saying is on the rise are not on the rise. But there is a kind of crime that is on the rise. For example, if you look at wage theft, I would call everyone's attention to the incredible reporting by Documented, a great news agency here in New York, organization that has created a wage theft database. And you can see that, that kind of crime is on the rise. Unfortunately, that kind of crime is precisely the kind of crime that someone like Elon Musk is trying to get rid of the regulatory framework that would protect workers, protect consumers. So those kind of corporate crimes are on the rise, but they're we're loosening things so more of that can happen. Meanwhile, we're telling a fictitious lie about other crimes.
Hi, Barry. You didn't email me yet. Barry, email me at info@vanessalavarato.com and I'll send you the Discord.
Crimes and then deporting people.
Okay, that's that. Let me play this one. Oops, that didn't work. Is this not going to work?
And there's 4 years of evidence of that. And when I try to argue with some of my immigration colleagues who are very, let's just say, anti-Trump or pro-open borders, as I call it, I say, well, why don't you point to something in 4 years, which he's done? And there's 4 years of evidence of that.
Believe it.
And there's 4 years of evidence of that. And when I try to argue with some of my immigration colleagues who are very, let's just say, anti-Trump or pro-open borders, as I call it.
This guy is. Look at him.
I say, well, why don't you point to something in 4 years, which he's done? And there's 4 years of evidence of that.
I hate
and
him.
when I try to argue with some of my
I don't know what this guy is
who are
saying, but I don't
If you're
like
moving
him.
to America, don't fall for these immigration myths. I've interacted with hundreds of immigrants the last 2 years and heard every
Look
myth
at this. That's AI. That's creepy. Cool. Creepy. Creepy. Boop 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 boop. I'm gonna read you something because I have the San Francisco Chronicle thing open, but it won't let me. It won't let me show you it. I guess I can't like. Let me see if I can put this in here. Can you see it now? Yes, you can. There we go. See, look at California's marijuana industry was already in crisis. Then the ICE raids started, says Joe Garofoli, senior political writer. Recent immigration raids on Southern California cannabis facilities have shaken California's already beleaguered marijuana cannabis industry as leaders worry about a renewed federal assault on farms and dispensaries that could scare workers into staying home and further cripple the state's multi-billion-dollar industry. Cannabis industry leaders and advocates have been huddling about how to react to a federal immigration raid this month on grow sites in Camarillo, Ventura County, and Carpinteria, Santa Barbara County that led to the arrest of 361 allegedly undocumented immigrants. See, allegedly, that's very key. The sites are owned by Glass House Farms, one of California's largest growers. The raid became a chaotic, violent mess in which at least one person lost their life and U.S. citizens were detained, including a California State University professor. One worker, Jaime Alanis Garcia, died after he fled. Federal agents climbed on top of a greenhouse and then fell 30 feet. Federal officials said they arrested at least 14 migrant children. The California Department of Cannabis Control said it conducted a site visit to the Glass House Farms facility in May and observed no minors on the premises after receiving subsequent complaint. The department opened an investigation into the facility that is ongoing. The raids may shock the generation of California cannabis industry workers who have grown up without fearing regular paramilitary-style busts that the Drug Enforcement Agency conducted for years in the state until 2014, when federal lawmakers banned the agency from interfering with state-licensed medicinal cannabis operations. But some advocates worry that ethos may be changing. The Republicans who control Congress are not cannabis-friendly, despite what the stupid fucking libertarian RFK Jr. is going to do something. You were wrong. On Wednesday, a House committee passed, hope it was worth it, selling out the fucking country, selling out
people, selling out your workers, selling out your farmers. I know dispensary owners who would said that bullshit to me, and that's why I'm saying that. You were fucking wrong. Ugh. The Republicans who control Congress are not cannabis friendly. On Wednesday, a House committee passed legislation that will halt the Department of Justice from spending money to reclassify cannabis from a Schedule I drug on par with heroin. A move initiated by the Biden administration, because anything Biden did, like they do the exact same thing to Obama. A House committee also recently approved provisions that would increase the federal penalties of distributing cannabis within 1,000 feet of an elementary school, college playground, a vocational school, or public housing unit. These tougher penalties could open the door for federal interference in state medical cannabis programs again, according to Americans for Safe Access, a cannabis advocacy organization. Industry leaders in California, which has long been a national leader in cannabis consumption and production, are on a high alert after the recent raids, unsure whether the industry is being targeted or if the feds are more focused on finding undocumented immigrants. We are being vigilant to see if this is a one and done situation or whether we can expect more and need to brace ourselves for that action, said Karen Woodson, president of the board of directors of the California Cannabis Industry Association. Given the recent cannabis unfriendly moves in Washington, Woodson said, it definitely suggests that if you're in the cannabis space, you should be vigilant and on watch for what happens next. Woodson's organization is working with advocates in cannabis businesses to train employees about what to do if federal agents raid a facility, even if it is state licensed, right? Like I said, this is so hypocritical because there's such bullshit with this state rights, state rights, state rights. That's what this Republican Party is about. We want smaller government. We don't want the federal government involved with state rights. But here you are sending in your fucking federal guard to do this, and it's bullshit. Meanwhile, public support for Trump's immigration policies is dropping. A new PBS Mars poll found that 43% of respondents approved of Trump's handling of immigration, one of several polls that show support falling for a key piece of Trump's agenda in the wake of a series of high-profile raids on agriculture and other workers. Woodson worries that given the $165 billion increase in the Department of Homeland Security's budget, with much of the targeted toward immigration enforcement and security, that the administration might increase its focus on California's cannabis industry, whose workers may not be as sympathetic as those who provide Americans with grocery staples. It's so fucking lame. Grandma and Grandpa, do you like your little cream and shit that you put on your hands that you use before bed to help you go to sleep? Do you like your edibles? Do you like all of that? That is all brought to you by immigrants. So we need to be supporting this community. As raids on traditional agriculture become more unpopular, something like this could be seen as culture war wedge. As a culture war wedge, and that is concerning, Woodson said. And then there is the potential financial impact for when the raids could scare members of the cannabis workforce to stay home, and it has. On Tuesday, the United Farm Workers urged workers who are not U.S. citizens to avoid working in the cannabis industry, even at state licensed operations. I think that is wise. For some in California's decade-old cannabis industry, which long predates voter-approved statewide legislation in 2016, Woodson said the raids were a triggering reminder of the hundreds of federal raids conducted in the state for years. People have gotten very comfortable with the idea that cannabis is legal, even though it is still federally illegal, said Steph Scherer, a president of Americans for Safe Access. I'm a little worried what that might look like under this administration. It would be so corrupt. It would be so terrible. Fuck this administration. This rising concern of renewed Stephen Miller. This rising concern of renewed federal interference is yet another headache for California's beleaguered industry. Thus, because cannabis consumers and retailers just felt the state cannabis excise tax jump from 15 to 19% on July 1st, get your medical card. You can get your medical card at leafwell.com. I think it's like leafwell.com /Vanessa Marigold and like
code Marigold or something like that, and you can get a discount. The tax bump couldn't come at a worse time. An estimated 15% of state retailers are behind on their taxes, and legal California weed is already the most expensive in the country. The high tax is a big reason an estimated 60% of the cannabis consumed in the state is illegal. The annual State of the Industry report by the California Department of Cannabis Control found that 1.4 million pounds of licensed cannabis are produced and consumed in California. California consumption is around 3.8 million pounds, meaning that 2.4 million pounds are supplied from unlicensed cannabis operations and consumed in California. And now the raids pose another existential threat. Boom. Great article. My dog's got aura. My dog is a sweet little angel. Right, Jenna RX? Don't you think? Sad part is how many farm owners voted for this and now realizing they screwed themselves, right? Fraggle Rock. It's sad that they're realizing they hurt themselves. It's still not about all the other people these actions hurt. Really sad the lack of empathy we have in this country. It's not all about the other people these actions hurt. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. 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 Let's see how long this is, because I don't want to read for a little bit. My throat.
Hello, and welcome to Define American with Jose Antonio Vargas. I'm Jose.
He's Jose.
One of the biggest misperceptions surrounding undocumented people is that we don't pay taxes and that we are a drain on the United States economy, when in fact the opposite is true. I say we, as you all know, I have a working visa now, but for decades I paid into the system while I was undocumented, working my way up as a journalist. Undocumented people pay all kinds of taxes: sales tax, local taxes, federal income tax, property taxes, accounting for tens of billions of dollars each year. In fact, conservative estimates suggest that half of the roughly 11 million undocumented people in this country file federal tax returns each year. We even pay Social Security and unemployment tax, even though we are ineligible to receive those benefits. So rather than being a drain on the economy, as the media ecosystem that tells the lies about us have been telling Americans for years and years, we are paying into a system that we can't even reap the benefits of. Now, the Trump administration is using this against us. Recent reporting from the Washington Post revealed a new agreement between the IRS and the Trump administration where the tax agency would share information with immigration officials to confirm the names and addresses of people suspected of being in the country illegally. This is a massive breach of trust and confidentiality that the federal government has promised taxpayers. The laws that protect immigrants from having their tax data revealed are the same laws that protect U.S. citizens. Immigration advocates warn that this will have a massive chilling effect on immigrants paying taxes and filing tax returns, and will have a devastating effects not just on immigrants, but on the United States economy. With me now to talk about this new developments is Francine Lipman. She's the William S. Boyd Professor of Law at UNLV in Las Vegas, where she focuses on federal and state tax law and policy. And she has a ton of experience working with undocumented people, serving as a strong advocate for tax justice for immigrants. Francine, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Francine, as you know, for decades, immigration advocates, as well as the federal government, have been telling immigrants, both documented and undocumented, to pay income taxes and file tax returns. Our tax system has a ton of confidentiality and privacy built into it. And undocumented people who file tax returns have been assured that they will not be targeted for their immigration status. But now the Trump administration has thrown all of this into disarray, turning immigrants' tax compliance against them. Can you talk about the history of this agreement?
Okay, let's watch something a little shorter. This goes on for a while. Let me read this to you. It says immigrants don't pay taxes. Truth, many immigrants, including undocumented immigrants, pay taxes. They contribute to federal and state income tax, property taxes, and sales tax. Even undocumented immigrants who do not have legal status are often required to pay taxes. Okay, so it's very, very redundant. This is probably made with AI. And that's it. That's all we get. That's the whole video. Very interesting. Kyla, JJ, Juan Jose, got it. Did we already watch this?
So let's talk about it.
Yeah, we did. Let me see what this is. How long is this? Okay, let's watch this. This is going to be a little heavy, but let's watch it. It's 13 minutes. Then my food will be here. I'm going to do another fight.
Y encontraron un retén de policías. Tuve mucho miedo porque se agarraron a balazos. Yo tenía como un mes de embarazo.
The trauma that they go through is complex. They come here just waiting to get an answer from the country that they think it's going to save them.
Antes de cruzar el río es muy temeroso porque te llevan a una casa abandonada. Yo llegué y tenían a 2 personas solo en calzoncillos, revisando que no llevaran dinero o algo, todo se lo quitaban. Crucé por la frontera de Piedras Negras. Caminé media hora por toda la orilla del puente hasta que llegara una patrulla fronteriza.
Traigo un dolor en la parte baja de la espalda.
Okay. Náusea, vómitos, fiebres?
No, nada.
Typically, the people who come to our door, migrants who have fled their homes.
This is cereal milk.
We tried to provide them with the care that we would want to be provided to ourselves or to our family members.
Tengo amenazas de muerte. Y así dijo, les voy a quemar la casa. Que se queme quien se queme. Lo que sé es de que matan, roban, violan, secuestran.
Being in Tijuana itself is very traumatizing. There is a lot of violence. It's the world's most dangerous city. And people are still not in a place where they feel safe. So if we can wait for people to be in the United States and go to a clinic like that Nick runs, for instance, it makes it easier for them to have a less traumatizing experience when they have their asylum evaluation done.
I think my client's ready. Can I get a PHQ 9 in English and then?
Yeah, definitely.
And then you'll be on the second floor in exam room 3.
Awesome. Thank you so much. What we're seeing with the United States right now, we do have high numbers of immigrants coming because of larger global trends in human displacement and climate change and persecution. We have, thankfully, a reputation as a country still as one of hope, of safety, of opportunity that's attracting people to our doorstep.
Refugee Health Alliance.
Yes. All right here.
HEAL, Refugee Health and Asylum Collaborative, is a partnership across 4 institutions where we
HEAL.
are based within Johns Hopkins University. We have really
Cool.
tight connections with the School of Medicine where we live.
Hey, Maysoon, how are you doing?
Hi, Marcelina. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I'm coming because I wanted to ask you about one of our clients that we're working with. Here at Hopkins, the Refugee Health Partnership is a student group at the School of Medicine that helps organize and teach a short elective for medical students about refugee health.
We will help with the transportation, and also we will see an interpreter for her.
Okay, awesome.
Because as you know,
It started with the forensic asylum evaluations and partnering with a local community organization to do some health navigation for asylum seekers in the area.
Hola, ¿es suficiente para todos?
Yo buscaba ayuda psicológica.
Oops, sorry.
También encontré mi abogada que me está ayudando ahora mismo. Ella es muy buena. Encontré la amistad de mi trabajadora social. Entonces eso me da mucha confortabilidad.
I think systemic political determinants of health are very, very important to understand when you are aware of these other things that are impacting our patients and allows you to better take care of them.
I think having a holistic perspective on the process.
Dang it! Catholic Charities. All right, we're going to ignore that.
Of migration has always been, for me, a very important part of the work that I do, to understand where people are coming from.
Hey Nick, how's it going?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Yeah, man.
Like just the other day I was doing an asylum eval for another patient who had never been through our clinic system and hadn't really received any services. She hasn't received any treatment. She didn't even know she was suffering from PTSD. I'm sure you get this a lot, right? Where you like
There's definitely parts of the medicine practice on the board
Ramona, look into it. It's pretty hard.
that I think are unique.
Jolie, Nakaila, tu baga passe bien ou bien?
I got a Chinese chicken
What
salad.
I really love about working here is that there are so many systems in place to try to reduce the barriers people often face when accessing healthcare. We can grab medication and bring it to the consultation desk, and that patient you know is going to be going home with an effective treatment.
Il semble qu'elle a vu fatiguée, la bouquet ou bien?
Fatigué.
Ok. Les bouquets.
Everything is
mix
free.
it
We
up.
don't charge for a single service, and that's very important to us because no one would be able to afford anything that we were offering. We say, welcome to our clinic. Would you like to see a Western doctor? We have, natural medicine practitioners. We have psychologists. Who would you like to see to treat your symptoms?
We do a lot of different treatments like massage, cupping, acupuncture. We have the sexual and reproductive health clinic, general medicine, and mental health. We also have a hygiene center, and we can provide all the labs, the meds, and
Hi,
we make
Pete.
sure they have a support group. So
Hi,
they
Madam
don't
Jam.
fall into
Thank
the
you.
tax with the system.
Just calling about one of the patients.
Wait, let me write Madam Jam on the board. Thank you.
that you're currently working on humanitarian parole for. We did have a pediatrician who's here in office today who just evaluated the baby and is a little concerned about them and could write an additional letter.
We cannot follow our patients to if they get their appointments or if they cross or if they die in the process.
I love a salad. This isn't very a healthy one.
So what has been going on?
A lot of people were here gathering, trying to cross. Yeah. And also it was foggy.
A lot of what has shaped the strategy of RHA here has been a response to the failure of the system to be able to respond effectively to human suffering.
It's like we're seeing injustices committed in the US.
I remember being in the courtroom and having everyone sort of play this sort of farce out and had obvious consequences of torture. I knew he was from Nicaragua.
It's really devastating what our patients have had to go through. I used to cry like the entire trip home.
That was it for me.
There was no element of justice there.
We're a Band-Aid on this really broken system. What is actually causing migration is a continuation of neo-imperialism, capitalism, and these larger forces that are creating large enough inequities that people feel that they have to leave where they come from. Until we really tackle those things, all the rest of this will just be a Band-Aid.
So as one kid, I know there is a stadium full of kids that are waiting the family separation cases.
Even though everything seems so big and insurmountable and there's so many defeats, there's a million defeats. Every time we do help someone, it is a real human impact on a real family.
Yeah.
And that
like
kid is now in remission.
Separation is still so rewarding to be able to help one family at a time.
People who don't have access to medical care need to be put first in line. The most vulnerable people need to be treated first and treated better.
We have the resources to make that a reality.
Okay. So here's the reality. How MAGA sees it is like, what about all the people? What about all the unhoused people? Maybe they don't see it like this. They hate everyone. But the most needy, it's like everyone, no one has health care in America. It's such bullshit. Everyone should have basic health care in this country. You shouldn't have to rely on charity or going bankrupt because you get sick.
But because of a lack of political will, a lack of imagination, and just a lot of structural issues that I think if we fix them for this population, we would make the system better for everyone.
That was a long day.
All right, we are going to follow some breaking news right now. This is coming to us out of Burlington right now, where a host of Massachusetts lawmakers have arrived at the facility where Marcelo Gomes da Silva was being kept in ICE custody.
And as we told you earlier this afternoon, Gomes da Silva was released just a short time ago. I believe he is walking up to the podium right now to speak for the very first time since being released. Let's see what is happening. If you're just joining us right now, he is that high school student from Milford who was detained by immigration authorities just last week. We are continuing to wait, and let's listen in.
Petra, I'm eating something so basic, but it's Chinese chicken salad, and the chicken's like fried, and it's iceberg. I think there's slivered almonds. It's really good. I don't care. I was craving it. I saw it. I was like, yep.
Okay. And then Jake's going to say a couple words, and then we'll turn it over to you. But they really want to hear from you. So we'll be, Jake, I said, they're going to really want to hear from him. So we'll be pretty quick. Yeah.
Bonbon's fine. Pete, don't worry about Bonbon. She has some allergies on her feet, but I'm dealing with them.
Okay.
Ooh, ow.
Good afternoon.
I gotta feed her though. Come on.
Good afternoon. I know you don't want to hear from myself and Congressman Auchincloss. You're really here to talk to Marcelo. But we just want to explain what we're doing here. We came up from Washington this afternoon. Jake, because Marcelo is his constituent, myself, because the facility where he was held is here in Burlington, to try to understand what the hell is going on. We support securing our border. We support following the law. But this administration is breaking the law. This administration is not keeping us safe by putting 18-year-old honors students in prison.
Right, Fraggle Rock?
I think you'll hear from Marcelo just what conditions he was held in, and Jake and I are going to go in and inspect them for ourselves.
Right.
But what we see here today is not American. It doesn't represent our values. And we may very well find that this administration is just outright breaking the law. Jake?
Thank you to Congressman Moulton. I'm Congressman Auchincloss. I represent the city of Milford, and I speak on behalf of my constituents in Milford with whom I joined in solidarity on Sunday when I say that this is not what law and order looks like. My constituents in Milford support secure borders. They support their local police department. They support deporting individuals who are a threat to public safety. They do not support harassing a high school student carpooling to his volleyball practice, who's an honors student who is a member of his high school band. That does not make the community safer. This administration has its public safety priorities backwards. They are rolling back regulations on ghost guns, but pushing tax breaks for silencers, for pistols. They are pardoning the cop beaters of January 6th and bullying and harassing dreamers and high school students like Marcelo. This administration needs to fix itself. It needs to uphold the rule of law, and it needs to stop hassling communities who want to support law and order to keep their downtown safe. And I'll turn it over to Marcelo.
My name is Marcelo Gomes de Silva. I don't want to cry, but I want to say that place, it's not good. It's not good. Ever since I got here, they had me in handcuffs. They put me downstairs, and I was in a room with a bunch of 35-year-old men, and those rooms were small compared to the size of like how many men were there. There was like 40 men in there. We would barely get any attention from the people there. It'd be really hard. I haven't showered in 6 days. I haven't done anything. The only thing I could do is thank God every day, because that's all I would do. I would pray there. I would talk about the Bible to them. Sometimes our lunch and dinner would be crackers. And I would share with the people there, because they're like all 35-year-old men who have kids. And obviously, like they eat more than me, so I gave them food. I shared with them. I gave them whatever they needed. I told them about the Bible. At the end of the day, this place it's not a good spot to be. Nobody should be in here. Like, most people down there are all workers. They all got caught going to work, and like these people have families, man.
Right.
Like, they have kids to go home to, and there's like genuine criminals out there that people aren't giving attention to. They're getting good people that don't deserve to be here. I was one of the translators in there, because I speak English, Portuguese, and Spanish, and they would come in there with their papers, and they would say, "Can you translate this for me? Because I don't want to sign something and get deported." And a lot of those papers, I would have to look back at them and be like you're being deported, like they're taking you out of the country. And I would have to watch people cry, like people with kids, like 10-month-old babies.
Okay.
No one deserves to be down there.
Okay. This is really sad. That was the salad I ate. Okay, let's keep watching, but I'm going to eat some dessert.
You sleep on concrete floors. The bathroom, I have to use the bathroom in the open with like 35-year-old men.
How
Like,
embarrassing.
it's humiliating. Like, you have to pee and poop there. I haven't pooped in 6 days. I couldn't use that
I don't
bathroom.
blame him.
I just felt embarrassed for everybody there.
Yeah, I get
That's
it.
mostly what I have to say. I thank Jesus. So, this right here is a bracelet that a Brazilian friend made me there. This is how we sleep. This is our blanket. They give us a really long sheet of this thin aluminum, I'm guessing, and we lay down on the concrete floor and put that over us and just sleep through the night. The doors are the doors are big, but there's only a small gap, and like there's days where we peek out the gap and we say, hey guard, can you give us something? And he'll be like, yeah, I'll get you it. And he would never come back. Like, he would never. I asked for a Bible, and like for people to say that, for me to say the Pledge of Allegiance at my school every single day and not have a Bible in a federal agency place, it's horrible. It doesn't make sense to me, because like, to me, I always choose God.
Okay, the Jesus God stuff enough.
Turning now to immigration, yet another landscape being significantly transformed by Trump policies. The Department of Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem met this week with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Arizona law enforcement agents who are searching for illegal immigrants in the Phoenix area. Here's what she said yesterday.
Also, we're working hard on enforcing the Alien Enemies Act, which I'm sure you saw the Supreme Court made a decision on yesterday. And we are going to continue to use that to deport the worst of the worst out of our communities and make sure they're facing consequences.
So the crackdown has affected thousands of migrants, but one particular story has grabbed attention. Canadian actress and entrepreneur Jasmine Mooney was recently detained by ICE for 12 days while attempting to renew her work visa. Hari Srinivasan spoke with her about this experience in detention and why she's using her voice now to advocate for immigration reform.
Christian, thanks. Jasmine Mooney, thanks so much for joining us. Jasmine, our audience might have heard a little bit about your story. You were somebody who's an entrepreneur and an actress, and you have been working in Canada and the United States, but you were recently detained for 12 days. Why were you kind of between these countries, and what made you want to go get another work visa for the United States?
So my visa journey started a year ago. I had this amazing opportunity to launch a brand called Holy Water out of California that is holistic medicine, metabolic health, and I went originally applied for my TN visa a year ago.
That was like a vanilla cupcake with confetti, like sprinkles on top. Oh, so good. I know it's really bad, but I just...
And what's a TN visa for people who might not know?
A TN visa is a business consultant visa. And so I originally applied for that visa at the Canadian border. And I got denied over some minor paperwork issues. And the agent told me, you can come back tomorrow and reapply. And so my lawyer, he was based in San Diego, and he told me, you know what, Jasmine, just come down to San Diego. I'll come with you to the office to make sure that nothing is missing in your paperwork, and we'll just get this done. So that's what I did. And I went down there and I got my visa within half an hour, and I was then working in California. And I still had my place in Canada, in Vancouver. So I was going back and forth, no issues there for just under a year. And the first issue I had started 4 months ago. So I was in Vancouver traveling back to LA, and I got stopped. And the agent told me, he's like, why were you originally denied and then went to the San Diego border? That seems really shady. And I explained my situation, and he told me, well, you aren't allowed to process visas there. Wow. And long story short, they took my visa away.
Wow.
Were you in America at the time, or were you in Canada at the time?
I was in Canada. I was traveling back to LA, and they stopped me, and then I wasn't allowed back into the country until I got that sorted. So I actually got offered another position with another health and wellness brand. And I talked to lawyers. I said, I want to reapply for my TN visa and work with this company. Is that an issue? And they said, no. And I said, well, I want to go to the same office that I went to. Should that be an issue? No. The worst that would happen is you get denied, like you've been denied before, and then we figure that out after that. So never in a million years did I think that what happened to me would have happened.
So you went to the United States to the Customs and Border Protection Office.
But why is this
right?
like so long?
So it wasn't America. It's the Mexican.
She was arrested by ICE during a chaotic crackdown in downtown Los Angeles.
Tonight, a 32-year-old U.S. citizen is released from custody and is speaking out about why she says she was unjustly targeted. John Fenoglio live in downtown L.A., where Andrea Velez says she's still terrified by what happened. John?
Boop.
Sharon, Micah, Andrea Velez is an American citizen born and raised in South LA. She says that she was just minding her own business, walking to work when she was suddenly grabbed and pushed to the pavement. She, along with lawyers, as well as witnesses, say she did nothing wrong.
Weird.
In fact, this call came in as an attempted kidnapping, which prompted LAPD to respond to the scene.
I have a couple bruises in my body. One of them pushed me to the ground.
Andrea Velez is referring to this chaotic moment in downtown LA Tuesday morning. The 32-year-old U.S. citizen from South LA had just been dropped off for work by her family near 9th and Spring Street when ICE agents rushed her, forced her to the pavement, and put her in handcuffs.
I was just going to work. It was just a day of work. And like everything happened so fast. So yeah, and they didn't identify themselves, so I was kind of scared.
Then she was hauled away. For 24 hours, her family couldn't find her. With the help of her family, community advocates, and lawyers, she was released late Thursday.
They're alleging that Ms. Velez assaulted an ICE officer. Now imagine this. You're at a scene, you're just dropped off from work, you're walking along on the curb, on the sidewalk, and a man, a grown adult, 200-pound, 6-foot man in full armor, weapons, with his face shielded, starts charging at you. And that's what she experienced. Now ask yourself, who committed the assault here?
Velez says she screamed and feared for her life when she was suddenly grabbed. She also thinks ICE was targeting other Latino and Hispanic people around her, but she didn't know it until she was questioned later.
They were just telling me that I was getting arrested for interfering and for resisting arrest.
Do you think you were interfering?
I don't think I was, and I was just resisting because I wasn't sure where I was gonna end up or who was taking me.
A terrifying and violent encounter for an American citizen swept up in an ICE raid while on her way to work.
I'm like Latina, so I'm pretty sure I was probably racially profiled.
Oh yeah, assholes. Assholes.
Previously, ICE has said in statements that Velez assaulted an ICE agent and that she tried to keep ICE law enforcement from targeting the person they were trying to arrest. Now, since then, we have reached out to ICE numerous times for clarification and answers to our questions, but we have not heard back. We're live downtown. I'm John Fenoglio, sending it back to you in Hollywood.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Okay, you guys, listen. We're going to go back to the club sesh main. We're going to get rid of the... I try to put it back on Bon Bon, but it's hard to do. You can kind of see her in the back there. All right. Well, I had a really good sesh this evening. These are our... Look at that. Look at our wonderful... people who contributed to the super chats and the live stream this evening. We had a good time, right? It was very informative and, you know, important to talk about. So immigrants are important and, you know, we need to offer them a path to legalization And you know, that's what this that's what we got to figure out. Is we got to figure out how to do that. So I want to look at this. No, okay, so let me see what your response has been. You have a cookbook? Of course I have. Wait, right. You have a cookbook. I was supposed to be like, you didn't know I had a cookbook. That confused me. So that's what that one means. Maybe you didn't know I had a cookbook. So 50% of you out of 10 points, 10 votes of 5 of you are waiting to get paid. I really hope you'll get it because you know what? It helps so much. It really does. Like buying the book, it helps so I can write more books and I can do more research. And the recipes are so good. And I put so many fun stories in there and great photography, and it makes people smile when they see it. It's an excellent book. You know, it's not like I'm asking you to buy something that doesn't offer anything in return. You know, like you will be able to cook with cannabis, whether you have trim, whether you have keef, whether you have live rosin. Like it explains how it all works and how to read potency and how to dose recipes so people don't get too fucked up. It's called How to Eat Weed and Have a Good Time. It came out in April. Thank you, Petra. I just want people to have a good time. And if you can't get it, maybe you can tell 3 of your stoner friends who can get it and be like, hey, listen, will you get this book? Because it would be great for a potluck. Let's do potlucks. So I'm going to ask you this evening. Tell 3 of your friends about my cookbook, How to Eat Weed and Have a Good Time. It really helps. I'm serious. No, I'm serious. I'm asking you, please, pretty please, with a cherry on top. I'm not singing Madonna, thankfully. Oh, thankfully. Thank you for not giving too many super chats. Obviously, I made that number way too high, and you guys just said, fuck it. We're not going to even try. Um, but if you would like this conversation to keep going, we have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We should make that a channel in the Discord. We have a great Discord chat. It's exclusive. It's to paid members of the Patreon, the Edibles Club. That is how this is all made possible. Beyond the super chats, it is through the Patreon. The link up top has both my cookbook. It also has a link to the Patreon, so you can click there if you want to support what you saw this evening, which was very fun. So I'm going to roll the credits. No one told me I had a little like thing in my hair. Really? That's who you guys are? Good to know. Anyway, yes, thank you, Madam Dram. Join the club. The Discord is cool. The club is cool, and that's what it gives you access to. I'm going to roll the credits, these are, these are our patrons, these are our supporters. So thank you for all of the super chats this evening. Thank you to El Fraggle Rock Pothead. Thank you to Chris Falconer. Thank you to Ochanomu. Thank you to Christian Gutierrez. Thank you to Madam Dram. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mil gracias, grazie mille. Official Ryan Gosling ASMR channel. I thought it was a new style. What's a new style? Many blessings later. Thank you, Saint Lucky Charms Show. Consider joining the Edibles Club. All of these cool people are members. Look at our club members. We have our edibles producers, Madam Dram, Lindsay Gabriel, Chris Core. Bounce for Ounce members, Anthony MC, Mickey DC, 123. And then all of our club members here. Look at them. Aren't they cool? This could be you. This could be you. Don't you want it to?
Anyway, have a great rest of your week. You know, I like to say as I go, remember who you are. Have a good night.